Greetings and welcome to Make It Make Sense, where we take things that people normally believe and tie their soul to and look at it and see whereby it just doesn't make any sense because it is pure nonsense. That is why I am saying make it make sense. For example, since I know myself growing up, I've always heard people saying that Jesus is coming back soon. Yet they cannot tell you if he's coming from the north, the south, the east, or the west. Yet they turn around and tell you that they are to be like Jesus and that Jesus is in them. Make that make sense when you look around and you see the law of reproduction that every seed and every species always bringeth forth after its own kind. If there was such a person that existed thousands of years ago, and such person had this power because he was unique and he was totally divine and yet totally human. If his life display a certain work and he now lives in you, you have to do the same work. That is why all the people were saying that Jesus is coming back soon. It doesn't make any sense at all because they cannot say what is this soon. It's just soon. And the reason why they're just saying soon because they're just assuming. As a matter of fact, you have to be conscious and aware to even speak a word. What do I mean by that? The very breath, the inhalation and the exhalation that you live by every day is actually the breath of God, which means you are God having a human experience. You are God in a body. Therefore, if you worship any other God outside of yourself, you have a false God. Now, the only thing that I've seen that has been coming back ever so often is the sun. You see, when the sun is going down in the evening, we are going down to sleep and rest. And when the sun starts to rise again, we start to rise again. And common sense have taught me that the sun, as in the sun, is the giver of our life, and it is the light of the world. And it's only the sun that saves the world each and every day by giving all of nature and all of humanity its energy. Therefore, the sun, it parallels the human imagination, and the human imagination parallels the sun. And the Bible states that without him, there isn't anything made that was made. And I'm saying to you that him is a personification that represents the human imagination. Because everything in this world that was made, it was for us imagine, it was for us a thought, it was for us an idea. Therefore, I am making more sense when I say that the sun is the light of the world, the sun, and the sun is what powers all of humanity and powers all of nature. And the sun and the human imagination are one. Therefore, you have in you an inner sun, an inner light. So they are blocking your inner light by making you believe that there was a man who existed 2,000 years ago with special powers and that he was a unique man. And he's the mediator between you and God when you are God in flesh, when God and man are one. You see, the mind of man is the mouth of God, and the mouth of God is actually the mind of man. That's why every preacher, he could only speak, preach a sermon, but there's no demonstration. He could never walk on literal water. He could never turn literal water into wine. He could never take literal fish and bread and feed thousands of people. Therefore, you have to be dumb to really believe that there's someone who's going to come from the sky one day to save you and redeem you, when the redeeming power is within you and the saving power is within you. So my brother and my sisters, no one in this world could ever make it make sense when they tell you that Jesus is coming soon. You see, Jesus is just a personification of a enlightened, self-aware, self-realized, self-actualized one. One who awake from the dream of life by having a virgin birth, a birth without the instrumentality of the physical human sexuality. It is a birth that takes place inwardly. And so the resurrection and the virgin birth is basically the same event that you would experience in your life. And that's how you know that when they tell you that Jesus is coming soon, it's a lie. You see, your awakening is coming soon. I can tell you that. Which means your awakening can happen at any moment. It can happen at any time. But, of course, you have to start with self. You have to first realize that there's no one to blame but self. There's no one to change but self. You have to realize that everything takes place in consciousness, and that consciousness is the only reality. And if you can accept the fact that this life is a dream, and one day you would awake out of the dream, then it will make more sense for you to say that one day I would awake out of this dream to find myself. You see, you came into this world to have this human experience in a state of amnesia. It's a state of it's a death in the spiritual realm to have an experience in the physical realm. So you come over here and everything been erased, and you're here searching for yourself. And so the universal question will always be, who am I? When the answer comes, it must be I am. That's why the name of God is I am, from generation to generation. It's your memorial. Okay? And you could never say I am for another. You have to be dumb and real stupid to think that you can say I am, the way, the truth, and the life for some man who existed 2,000 years ago. You can never say I am for someone else. He said, if you believe in God, you must believe also in me. Me, you can never say me for someone else. You could never say I for someone else. That's why he said, fear not, it is I. The I that is in you. And if that I be single, Matthew 6:22, okay? And if that I be single, your whole body will be full of light. Light goes back to what? The sun. You will awake and find the experience of awakening is the rising of the S-U-N in a S-O-N. It is the dawning of a new day in your life. And then you will realize they have swapped the S-U-N for the S-O-N. And common sense will teach you that no S-O-N could ever exist unless there first be the S-U-N. So my brother and my sisters, when people come and tell you that Jesus is coming soon, ask them to make it make sense. Okay? Never doubt them, never argue with them, never try to convince them. Okay? Never try to make them feel that you believe that you know better than them. Okay, use their own words and ask them to make it make sense. And then you take it and make it make sense for them. Their own words. Okay, be mindful to remind them that it is their own words, not your words. Remind them that you're only quoting what they say, and you're only speaking from what they say. And then ask them if what you're saying, if it makes sense to them. Okay, because we're here to enlighten and uplift our brothers and sisters because we are one. Okay, just mean that many of us have forgotten who we are. And we must come to a place of remembrance. So I remember. Okay, that is why I'm trying to get you to remember who you are. By saying to you, you have to look within yourself to find the Savior and Redeemer. So, Christ is coming soon means that soon, uh, some time in life, you will have an experience that would change your life completely. And it would be an experience whereby you change from mortal to immortality in a twinkling of an eye, because the eye will open within you. And then you will know it is the return of your Christ consciousness. It's the return of you knowing that you are totally divine, yet you are having a human experience. Okay? So the entire story in the Bible concerning the main character is you. You're the main character playing all the parts. Just accept who you are. So with that being said, my brother, my sister, I can go on and on and on. But I'm going to come to a close. I want to thank you for listening to me. I want to say to you, if what I'm saying, if it makes sense to you, and now you can make it make sense, okay, let me know. Also, if you haven't subscribed already, I'm definitely encouraging you to subscribe, to like, to comment, or to share this video. Also, if you like to follow me on Instagram, you like to follow me on TikTok, you can definitely follow me at Black Mad Guru. If you like to get my books, they're available on Amazon. You have about 10 or more books to choose from. Feel free to do so. Also, if you want to book a one-on-one with me, you can drop me an email and we can definitely have a one-on-one. And if you'd like to become a part of my Free Thinkers and Seekers University, you can definitely do so. I try to post up a masterclass weekly to help those who are on my university in their spiritual journey. But whatsoever you desire, my encouragement to you is to make sure that you check out all of the links that are down below, and definitely let your intuition lead you and guide you into what to do. So with that being said, my brother, my sister, I just want to say peace. Love you all. Out.